Mikael Dewabrata to the stage, who is a content creator with more than 22,000 followers in X. Driven by a desire to bridge the data skills gap in Indonesia, Mikael regularly updates data visualization and data science content, gaining millions of impressions and engagement since 2022. Mikael is one of the mentors in the Mentor Fellowship by the Go-To Impact Foundation, guiding participants on their data analytics journey and introducing them to the power of visualization. And so I'm very excited to welcome you to the stage. You've got the clicker, we found it? Excellent. And to talk about kind of what does happen when you're not necessarily working on a team, but you are building those skills up as a solo practitioner. Mikael, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. Okay, so actually my followers now is 25,000. So it's growing, and I estimated in the end of June going to be 26,000. Okay, my name is Mikael. I'm from Indonesia, far from here. I started to learn data science in 2021. At that time, my age is 40. So it's kind of late, right, learning data at that age. But at that time, why I'm choosing to learn data science, because I'm interested with data. Previously, I'm doing digital marketing, and I'm involving a lot of data in digital marketing, but I want to improve more. I want to learn data. And one of my methodology to learn data is to share. Sharing is caring. And when I'm sharing, I need to care about my content, right? I cannot share something that is misleading, right? I need to be more structured to my sharing. So I started to share in Twitter. This is an example of my threads in Twitter. At the first, I gained like 100 likes, 20 likes, but slowly I gain traction, I get engagement. So some of my Twitter threads gone viral. So I'm excited. So it became a behavior that I'm tweeting every day. I create threads every week so I can gain more and more followers. But the problem is, in social media, content like this sometimes can be boring, right? I'm a boring data person, only talking about data, sharing tutorials, something like that. People are not going to buy it. So this is what I'm thinking of. Nobody understands this word, right? Because in Bahasa Indonesia, julid means to be salty. So it's like you guys likes to discuss about gossips, about controversy, about scandal, and every time in the social media there's a discussion about this, you jump in, you discuss with a lot of people, you debate, right? That's what's happening in social media. And sometimes you get a lot of attention by creating this kind of content. Okay, but that's what I'm not going to do, of course. I'm not going to make a scandal. That's not what I'm doing. But it gives me some thought that if I want to reach more and more people, I need to involve, I need to step into those kind of discussion. This is an example. So Dirty Vote is a great documentary. It's published in the YouTube in the election in Indonesia, directed by Dandi Laksono and collaborated with Bivitri Susanti, Zainal Arifin Mokhtar, and Ferry Amsari. It's a great video. So what is it all about? It's about how these people create content with the data that is in front of us. They collect the data from the website, from YouTube, from social media, from documents that published by the government publicly, and they just crafted into the beautiful storytelling. Very thrilling. When I watched this movie, I thought it's a horror movie because our election is kind of scary. And not only me, 9 million people views this, if you see the statistic in the YouTube, and they realize that they should know about this, but these people crafted really well. As you can see here, they made a visualization inside the video, they explaining it, they giving context, and sometimes they show it chronologically from news to news, so we can see the picture what is going on. Okay, and what I'm doing in here is, why I'm not jumping into the conversation? Why I'm not being julid? Okay, why I'm not being salty? But in a positive way, of course. So I created a thread back in the election era in the 2024. So I'm explaining that their content is about the process of data analytics from data into a visualization. And people loves my thread. So I gained like 700,000 of views at that time, impression. And they discuss it. And they said that to me that, wow, yeah, it's a good insight. So I just realized that the data is in front of us. And it also keep them to learn more about this situation. Okay, then doing this so I can gain a lot of attention, of course. My follower growing from 6,000 to 25K of followers for just a year. And I gain like yearly 100 million of impression. And I hope for each impression I get $1. But no, it's not happening. I'm not rich yet. Okay, this is the type of content that I'm making. I make a content about how the government made a bad data visualization. I give them comments. I also give them tutorials about how to make a web analytic dashboard using Looker Studio for free. They can just read the tutorial in the Twitter and so on and so on. As you can see here, this is my statistic about the engagement statistic. But I'm here not for sharing about my social media performance, of course. This is not a social media forum, right? And it's not about fame. I don't want to be famous. Okay, that's a lie. I surely want to be famous because that's why I'm starting to be an influencer, because I want to gain more and more followers. I want to be famous, I want to be known. But that's not the only goal. I must remember what I'm started for. When I started to join the Twitter and start to sharing, my goal is to share to more and more people. Being famous, just part of it. Okay, so from an avid data visualization enthusiast, I want to give more opportunity for people to learn and learn. Okay, this is an example. So this is a dashboard. Actually, the second part is below the first part. I just cut it so it fits in the slides. So in 2023, I joined an initiative called Generasi Gigi, made by Goto Impact Foundation. Goto is one of the biggest company in Indonesia, and I joined as a mentor voluntarily. The goal is to attract generation that just graduated from this university and just start to looking for a job. And one of the team, I led two team actually, and one of the team made this dashboard. They don't know Tableau before this initiative. So I gave them mentoring workshop for them for free, and I gave them some tutorials for them to learn. And this is the final project for the Generasi initiative, and they made it to they win the independent capstone project. The participant is like 300 participants, and with like 12 or 13 teams, and they achieve the #1. So this is for students that don't understand Tableau at all, don't understand how to make a data visualization. And with this moment, I realized I can do more. Okay, so I don't want to be stuck in one initiative made by other organization. I want to make by my own. Goto Impact Foundation, Generasi Gigi, doing that annually. I want to do this type of mentorship, whatever I want. So I'm doing it independently. That's when Sabtu Tableau started. So what is Sabtu Tableau? Sabtu means Saturday. Tableau, everything know what Tableau is, right? So it's like a workshop that is in Saturday. And I want to make it rhyme, so Sabtu Tableau is nice to the ears, right? So the idea is to attract students that is just graduated from university and impacted with economy, which is they're struggling to looking for a job. So only for them. So when we opened the registration, we got 288 registration, and at the end, there are 3 dashboard published. And also I highlight about 15 participants outside Java, because let me tell you something. I live in the Java island, and Java is the most populated area, in probably the most populated island in the world, probably. So there are a lot of people in Java. Every corner you see people. And with this situation, I believe that people who live in Java is very privileged. I have a lot of privilege in Java. The electricity is good, internet is great. But what about people that live outside the island? Like, for example, Sumatra. Couple of weeks ago, there was a blackout happening in those islands for days. They cannot access electricity for days for the whole island. So that's why we are thinking to give more priority to those who live outside Java Island. And this is one of the participant dashboard. Her name is Rania Hana. She's telling a story about the sanitation problem in Indonesia. And I realized there's a lot of things she tells in this dashboard. She lives far outside Java Island in Pontianak, Kalimantan. So you can see the island in the middle. And this is her first time creating a complete data storing dashboard. And this is her first time to create spider chart. And I was there mentoring her. This is made by her own, but I mentoring her, giving her a lot of information, tutorial online. Everything is online. And the second one that I'm going to highlight is a student called Rafli Al-Hashimi. He just graduated. So he made a tableau about the pregnancy model success program by the Dewabrata or West Java government. Okay, but I think Sabtu Tableau is great. It's fascinating. It's exciting. But I want to reach more. So I am expanding. That's why I created more workshop, not only about Tableau, but a lot of topics. For example, in here we can see I make a workshop about Power BI, Looker Studio, and how to make a data-driven presentation using PowerPoints, using documents. And not doing it alone, I also invited more people to join with me as a co-mentor. For example, this is the webinar that I'm created. So the workshop and the webinar is a bit different. The workshop is for 3 or 4 days, and the webinar is only for like 2 hours. And they interested to join me in the webinar. Not only I open opportunity for people to learn, but also for experts to share, because they have the expertise, but they don't have the platform, don't have the audience. So they join with me to share these things about copywriting, about reporting dashboard, about how Tableau, Power BI, Looker Studio fighting each other. No, it's not. It's just we try to make this webinar about how to differentiate for each platform. Okay. This is one example, one of my friends that is joining this initiative as a commenter about sales dashboard. So Mr. Heri Munaji actually just retired. So, and he lost his daughter 3 years ago. And one thing that he can keep his mind being positive is just making dashboard and sharing things. He write blogs, he write in Twitter, and he eager to share to more people. So I gave him a space to share, and he's excited about it. And this is a number. Okay, for the beginner workshop, I initiated 7 workshops for the Power BI and 1 intermediate. This is a little bit more expensive, and 5 webinars and 1 ebook, and involving 6 experts. For your information, the workshop is paid, but I still want to make it affordable. So for each workshop, the cost is like $13, not 30, 13. And for the webinar, it's free. It's for free. And as you can see here, the participant for the paid workshop is 415. And for the free webinars is 340. And when I make an ebook that is for free, I got 750 downloads. And this is just started since March 2024, so it's just very recent. Okay, probably you can see this that, wow, you are great. No, but I want you to see the different side of the story. When I make this workshop, the first 3 batches, each batch I open only for 65 people. 5 is for scholarship, and the 60 people is paid. It sold out within 5 days. The second one, also 65, and the workshop sold out within 4 days. The third one, 80%. And for the workshop for data analytics for non-data analysts, is only like less than 24 hours sold out for 80%. And the webinar is more exciting. For each webinar, I open only for 85 people because the quota of the Zoom. The quota is fully booked only for the less of 3 hours, every webinars. What I'm going to tell you that the enthusiasm is very big, right? So they are looking forward for this type of workshop, and I think this is my time to give more to them. And then in the future, I'm not only limiting only to Tableau, of course. I'm still going to do another sub to Tableau, but I'm going to label it into different name. So it's Canal Visual, another catchy name. So Canal mean to know, to understand, and to learn. Visual, everything, everybody in here must be know the word visual, right? So this going to be the new umbrella of this initiative. And I hope everybody in this room or maybe watching it online, if you want to contribute it, I'm open. Just DM me, slide to my LinkedIn. If you can make a webinar around it and I can translate it to the audience, I'm very, very welcome. And if you have some free PDF articles that you can share with me, I'm also open to share it to the audience because Indonesian people needs a lot of information and they are very limited to do that because we, as an Indonesian, we don't have English as our main language. So we need people to do that. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mikael. I think it's great to think about the ways in which we connect to people who are in other countries and spaces. I mean, we're obviously here in Chicago right now, and a lot of DVS members are in the US, but it's really great to hear about the ways in which you're working to try to bridge that gap and bring more data knowledge to your colleagues and other folks in Indonesia who are interested. Do you have any high-level thoughts about what has made your work unique in terms of being based locally and connecting to a local audience, and what lessons we might all take from that if we're looking to support those who are in other countries and other spaces learning data skills?
Yeah, what make it unique because most of the courses in Indonesia about data, they sharing the content too broad, too general. And what I'm making is very specific, and they need that for their office, for their work, because they want to make a dashboard for their office. And those things is not a lot in Indonesia. And most of those type of courses is in English. And they want to learn from the expert, from me and from my friends in Bahasa Indonesia, so they can learn better.
I think that question of language comes up a lot. I mean, as you
Yes.
think about the access to information, where else have you found opportunities to kind of either translate or build new content in local languages? And I guess I would assume Indonesia isn't just one single language, it's a big
Yeah,
country.
we have a lot of dialects, like maybe thousands of different languages. But once unite us is Bahasa Indonesia. That's why language translation is very important. That's why context is very important. Also, I must see what they need. They need to upskill. They need to improve. They think that learning data can improve their life, not only to learn something, but also they can have a better life because they can get better performance in their job.
I see a couple of questions in the audience to this side.
Yeah, so real quick, as you're building up your Twitter followers and trying to spread the word, how much of the algorithm do you worry about? Like the Twitter algorithm or whatever the social media platform is?
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about Twitter because the algorithm is keep changing. And that's why I need to every day looking at Twitter, posting in Twitter, so I can understand how to understand the algorithm. How can I chip into the conversation? So each time they change, I suddenly learn how to make a content about that because we cannot understand the social media if we're not involved with 24/7. So it's like every day I'm opening the phone just to check who is mentioning me, something like that. But it's important because I want to keep up in the game. I want to be always around in the Twitter.
This side.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I just found this image hilarious because we have Indonesian, we have Singaporean that's currently in Edinburgh,
Yeah.
and a Malaysian that's currently
We are
in
neighbors.
Chicago. So we're neighbors, and we all speak Indonesian and Malay.
Yeah.
So my question to you is related to this. So increasingly at DBS, we have more and more multilingual and more multilingual people from Southeast Asia. What can we do, especially people that are not currently there geographically, but we may have resources that we access
Yes,
from
yes.
the places that we're currently at? How may we help you better equip you in the workshops and training materials that you're trying to build?
Yeah, that's also what I'm telling before, that I am open for collaboration, because 3 days in here, I get a lot of insight, something that new for me and going to be new for the Indonesian people, for my audience, of course. So the collaboration is important because you have a good content, you have a good knowledge, but the barrier is the language. And not only the language, but also the context. So I can help you with that. So if you have a program and you want to deliver it to the different country, like you might want to make some like a webinar, workshop, me and a couple of friends of mine can help to facilitate that.
Okay. Paying?
Selamat pagi.
Selamat siang.
Yeah, thank you for that wonderful presentation and
Yeah.
amazing initiative that you're doing. My team, about almost half of them are Indonesians also. So I think what you're doing is really important, and I definitely will look for you later. My question is about specifically the choice of using Tableau. I know that Tableau has a lot of currency businesses, but given the comment that you had about wanting to reach out to the other states, people who have less privileged background, how can we practice on something that will be less gatekeepy, because Tableau is quite expensive as a tool. I mean, I know there are like student licenses and things like that, but are you exploring what other free tools are you exploring to improve their data literacy and opportunities to practice? Yeah.
Yes, I'm aware with that too. That's why every time I'm running a workshop, I told them that each tools have their limitation, but they also have a free version like Tableau. They have Tableau Public, and in Power BI, of course, you cannot publish your dashboard, but at least you can learn a lot of things from Power BI when you access it for free. And if they cannot access for all of those things, that's why in the future I want to be not restricted to certain tools. That's why they can do it using Excel. They do it using PowerPoint. For at least they can know the basics of visualization, not only restricted to certain tools.
I'll be scandalous and say that I love Excel. Off to the side. Our last question.
I'm also an Excel fan, so you know. I was wondering how or if you are reaching out to data novices and people who aren't yet familiar with the field, and if you're doing any outreach to them. For instance, hey, you see this chart, want to know how to make it yourself, want to get to the details yourself. Are you doing, or if so, how?
Okay, first of all, to me, data visualization is something interesting, and you can read the information directly. So when I can read it directly, I hope that the audience also can read it directly. And usually I'm showing them the magic of creating a good data visualization. I'm giving tutorials, I'm showing what is not working, what is working, sometimes using a real use case when the government make a terrible data viz, I give comment. So how to make them more understand about it, give something that relate to them, that close to them. For example, like if the president or maybe the minister make a presentation and it's terrible, just ask them to, hey, can you fix this? And that's kind of effective. Okay.
Ask the minister to make a change to the
Yeah.
presentation. That's bold. I think a lot of your comments and points have just been spot on for as we kind of close out the formal talks part of Outlier and before we move into some more hands-on workshopping this afternoon, and thinking about ways in which you mentioned data as this kind of skill set that can enable people to get better jobs and do different things in their work. And I love ending on that point that, I mean, we're all here at a conference because we care about data visualization, but it really kind of cuts through the fabric of how we exist in the world and what we do in our lives. And it makes me think of organizations and groups like Be Data Lit and some of the other data literacy initiatives really focusing on how to bridge that gap.
Yes.
If folks want to find you, what's the best way to connect with you? Since there's lots of calls to action on collaboration.
Twitter, of course, I want to get more followers. It's not enough.
Well, with that, big thank you to Mikael for
Okay.
giving our closing talk today.